Hello everyone, I'm Laurel and welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would make either a sun catcher or a wind chime. I do have wind chimes, but I was going to use them for fixing one of my other wind chimes that had broken over the winter time. So this may be just a sun catcher, not sure yet. As you can see, it's got all the elements to make the sun catcher. I do believe I want to add one of these birds to it, and the bird is actually kind of like a three-dimensional type of bird that would be hanging from the bottom part of the sun catcher. And then I have these little bird molds, and I thought I'd make like a couple little birds just to place at the top of the piece. So we'll see how that goes. I have some sparkles here to add in. I'm not sure if I want to add flowers in yet. I haven't decided, but I think I may put flowers in the center of the larger ones. Now this, when I purchased this came with these beads and this string. It's like fishing line almost. It's very clear. So I'm going to use this to string it all up and put it all together. So let's begin. I really have no plan for this. I don't know if I want to use color. I do have my epoxy colorant, and if I do use these, it's going to be very pale in color. Maybe except for maybe the birds. I want the birds kind of to stand out. Okay, so I went through some of my flowers and I found some daisies. Different colored ones. So I think that's going to be perfect for these center ones. And obviously I'm going to keep these clear and then just put the flower in, because I want them to show on both sides. So okay, let's begin this. I'm getting myself all confused because there's like so many things I want to do, but I'm just going to move some of this stuff aside so I can just do the clear ones first. And then I'll worry about doing the birds and then these smaller ones, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with these. I was thinking of putting the glitter in there. And I have the three different colors of glitter. I have gold, silver, and blue. And I really haven't decided what I want to use yet. It'll probably go along with whatever daisies I put in these. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm just going to use the clear resin. I'm going to need a piece of tape just to clean these out. They look a little dusty. I'm just using masking tape. Now, I've never used this mold before, so we'll see how this goes. And I just see a couple of bubbles in there that just don't want to go away. Oops, they popped, I think. Nope. Move them up towards the surface. There we go. right. And I think I'll use the yellow flower first. And I'm just making sure all the petals are under the resin. Just making sure there's no more bubbles there. I'm trying to decide how to do this because my light, my LED light, is actually small, so it can't cover all of this at once. So I just want to see how many I could do. I can do 2 at a time, and I can also do the little center ones too. I don't know if that's, oh, okay. And then I'm just using a baby wipe to wipe off my tweezers. Okay, might need it just a little touch more. All right, for the smaller ones, I only have tiny little ones like that, but I don't think I have enough. I think I only have like 1 or 2. Yeah, I don't really have that many. So with those, I might put some greens, you know, just some cute little greens in there. And with that, you'll need some scissors. So I'll just take off a small bunch. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use color or not, but I'm definitely using color for the birds and possibly, I think for these too. I just want the flowers to show up, so that's why I'm using the clear for these. This to move it a little bit. Trying to get it centered a little. I see bubbles still in this one. Just going over it a little. This might need a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to cure these for 180 seconds and then turn it over and cure the other side for 180 seconds. So that will ensure that it's cured all the way through. All right, so now that they're cured, remove them from the mold. That's the way they look. And now I have 3 more of the large to do and 4 more of the small ones to do. All right, so now that all those little medallions, or whatever you want to call them, are done. I'm going to work on the birds next, and then I'm going to do this centerpiece afterwards. So the birds, I would like them to be like a very pale blue. I did make 6 of the large with the flowers, and then 6 of the small with the leaves. I may have to make more because the mold that I received, even though it came with the beads and the string, this did not come with any instructions, so it's basically you figure it out. So we will do that. But as for now, I am just going to put a couple drops of blue in here and mix it up. I would like my birds to be blue. And I think the centerpiece, I'll either do green or yellow. I may do them green because I want it to look like the birds are sitting on, you know, grass. Or you could do blue, well, a different shade of blue, so it looks like they're in the sky. But I think for now, I think I'm just going to choose the yellow. Possibly the green, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. So there's 2 different birds, this one and then this one. And I think I'm going to go with the smaller bird. I'm not really sure which one I want hanging from the bottom. Maybe the larger bird. We'll do the larger bird and see what that looks like. Pour all the resin into the wings. Okay, and then we're going to have to mix up more for the body and the tail. That was just enough. That was perfect for the wings. Okay. And then we'll do 2 drops again. Now if there's any left over after this, we can use it in this bird mold, because those I'm going to make blue also. So this basically is going to hang from the bottom of the Suncatcher, and then these are going to be on that little centerpiece at the top. And I'm going to make 2 of these, you know, so it doesn't turn out lopsided and look funny, because that does add on extra weight. And you could use 1 because, you know, you got the string in there, but up to you. I'm going to do 2 just so it's not lopsided. Making sure the bubbles are out. I'm going to pour it in here. And in here. This might be a little more. Okay, so now I'm going to cure this for, let me see. I'm going to do 3 minutes, and then I'm going to do 3 minutes on the other side. And then if it still feels tacky, I may do another 90 seconds or so for each side. All right, so while that's curing, I'm going to start working on one of these. So as you can see, it's got a little crisscross on the back, that just so it stands up so it's level. And then I'm going to add more resin to this. And again, I'm going to do 2 drops, even though there's some left in there. And then just mix it up thoroughly. Now if you see too many bubbles in here, which I kind of do, that are a little bit lower, use a hot air gun and that should get them all out. So excuse the noise. And then I'm just going to pour it into this bird mold. Okay, so this one I'm going to cure for 5 minutes on both sides. Once it's cured on this side, you can turn it over and the cross will stick up, but that's fine. It will still cure the underneath part. Okay, I do want to mention that the other bird that's hanging from the bottom, you only need a single bird for that. And these, you need 2. And that's for the upper portion of the Suncatcher. The other one is still curing, but this one is finished and we can remove it from the mold. Okay. All right, so the next step would be to put it together. So that would slide in there and this would slide right there. Now it does have a hole to hang it, but I'm going to add a little bit of the blue resin in here. And that's just to hold that piece in. Like that. And then I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds. And then once that's done, I'll put the tail on. Okay, so that is nice and secure now. So now we'll do the tail. Just make sure you get it in that little gap where it's supposed to go. And then fit the, oops. And fit the tail in. I'm just going to add just a little dab around this area here just to make sure that it's nice and stable, because as you can see it's not leaning on that bottom piece, it's sort of sticking up, so I just want to make sure it's nice and stable. And then I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds. Alright, so it's done curing and it's in there real stable. Now I don't know about you, but I think these are really cute, and I think just making a Suncatcher out of the birds hanging off of this centerpiece would be so adorable. Just have a bunch of the birds hanging off. I think that would look lovely. And you know, you could have, you know, several hanging off of a, you know, one of the strings, and it would be really cute. Alright, so I'm going to mix up the green. I did choose green. I was thinking yellow, but then I decided I'm going to do the green. And I have a very pale green that I'm going to use for the center piece. I'm not sure what this piece is for, but I'm going to make it anyways. We'll figure it out later. So like I said, there's no instructions, so we're just winging it here on like how many pieces I need. I suppose you could do as many as you want, because if you wanted like them to hang a small one, large and small, you'd have to make more pieces. But you still need at least this main circle. So And that little one in the center, I don't know exactly what it's for. Did 3 drops of peridot, which is a very light green. I'm just going to add a little bit more in here of the UV resin. And then I'm just going to mix it up. This does not have holes on this little one, so depending on what I use it for, I may add holes. I'm not really sure yet. I could just drill some holes in there if I need to use that piece. Mainly I'm just getting the pieces done that I need to start with. And then we'll see what happens after that because of the, there's no instructions, so. Okay, and then I'll pour this in. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to mix up a little bit more. Especially for the center piece. But this is not completely filled. Just going to do 2 drops. Okay, and then I'm just going to make sure there's no bubbles. I don't know what's wrong with this lighter. There's lighter fluid in there, but it's acting up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to cure this now for 180 seconds and then turn it over and cure the other side for 180 seconds. Alright, so while this is still curing, I'm going to remove this bird from the mold. Isn't that cute? Now I'm going to have to make another one. So I'll just turn that over. I'll probably need a little bit more blue. When you're working in a small space, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. I'll move this bird over. Did 2 drops there. I think that blue shade is really pretty. I didn't have quite enough, so I'm just gonna have to mix up just a pinch more. Okay, so now on this one, I'm just testing, make sure it's not tacky. Then turn it over and then start curing the other side on that one. Okay, and I see some bubbles at the top, so I'll just get rid of those. And then I'm going to cure this for 5 minutes as soon as this is done curing. And again, 5 minutes on one side, turn it over and do 5 minutes on the other. Okay, so this is ready to take out of the mold. Pretty green. Oops, there's a little bit there I don't want on there. And then we'll move this one. Okay, so the bird is still curing. I'm getting a little warm in here. It's getting a little hot in this room. Okay, so I did 6 of these, 6 of those. I've got this. I may have to make more of these. I'm not sure yet until we start putting it together. We have this bird for the center piece that hangs all the way down. All right, so then we'll have the 2 little blue birds that will sit on that center piece, probably one facing one way, and then as soon as the other one's cured, I'll attach them and it'll face the other way. All right, here are all the pieces and they're ready to get put together. The bird's already attached. I used a dab of UV resin and cured it for 180 seconds. All right, so see, so get your string. It's very thin. I'm going to do 3 lengths, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, maybe and a half, a little half piece there. And then I'm going to cut it. And then I'm just going to measure the same length with the existing one that I cut. So I'm just gonna set this over there so I can put the 2 ends together and then just keep going until you have them. And that. Okay. Let's see. You'll also need a center one. I'm going to put that on after. I just want to get this together first. So you put the ring on. And you find the other end. No, I might have cut too much string, but That's okay, because we're going to be wrapping them around certain pieces, so. All right, so I don't know if I should take a, I think I'll take a big bead, place that on. Okay, and then just go all the way up. Now you can leave the bead like it is, or you take the ends and then you go back through the bead with all the ends. Make sure there's 4. I'm not seeing 4. 1 escaped. So you go through with all 4. Make sure there's 4 when it comes out. I still see 3. Oh, there's 4. Okay, and then you just take them, pull them through. Okay, and then make sure you got your bead where you want it. And just kind of straighten everything out. Okay, so I want the bead up farther. I know it's hard to see because it's hard for me to see too. And then you just pull these tight. This one's kind of tangled around. I don't know how that happened. I'll just have to fix this one. It's not tangled around. Okay, so now that's attached, and it's clear, so I don't know if you can see it right there. And then we have to put one through each of these, and we're going to do the same technique where we like kind of wrap it around. So we'll just stick it through, put it up to about, oops, we didn't put it through. Oh my gosh, I can't even see what I'm doing with these thin little lines. I'm just so, oops, wrong way. Yeah, you don't want to put it upside down. So you just go all the way through. Try not to get it all stuck up on the bird. So you want it to be hanging a certain length. And then once you get it to that length, you can do a loop through it. Or, you know what you could do? This would be good too. Let me get the little beads. And little beads you can put like underneath it. Okay. So once you get it to where you want it, you can just get that end. Oh my gosh, I can't even see. I'm trying to use my glasses. I can't see with my glasses. I can't see without them. This is crazy. And it's hard too because it keeps like looping up and you want to get it through, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, so it went through there. I'm going to stick it through the little bead. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll just leave it. And then put it through the bead. Just to hold a little extra there. Now you can put these together any way you want it. If you don't want to use this wire or this string, I mean, you can use wire for it. Okay. So, I don't know if that looks good like that. You can always do it a second time, like just to be sure. I don't know if I don't like the bead on there, so I'm gonna take the bead off. Okay, put that back in the bag so I don't lose it. Make sure I got it hanging to where I want it. find the end and then put it through. And I think I'm going to do a knot just because I want it to stay right where it is. Got it all stuck up on the bird. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then we'll just do one more through. I'll just feed it through again. Just, it's not really making a knot, but it's making like a little tie there just to make sure it holds it. Okay, so that's approximately the length I want. Okay, so now I got to get another strand, find the end, put it through this side, work it all the way through. Oops, you know, you got to be careful because you want it to be the same. So, you know, this is just pulling out. Honestly, I don't know, this is the worst. Just not working. It's just not working. I wish it came with instructions. They show the way it looks when it's done. It looks really lovely and everything, but there's no instructions how to put it together. And apparently, if you've never done this before, it's difficult. You know, it's kind of hard to do. So I'm gonna make a knot. I'm not gonna just feed it through. I'm just gonna make a knot. Okay, now everything else is getting tangled up in it. And this, I'm telling you, this can get very annoying because you want it a certain way and all it's doing is getting caught up in the other strings. Actually, that string is already... Okay, I can't even see what I'm doing. All right. Okay. All right, so that. Okay, this one's already in the hole, so we'll just see about where. Okay, so we have to have it the same. So I'm gonna just kind of get a knot going here. And okay, so hold it there. And then just, while it's holding there, you just make another knot if you can. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got two. I don't know what this is, but my strings, oh, there we go. My strings on here were kind of messed up, so, all right. I think once we get to this stage, finish this up, it should be a lot better. It's just so difficult. Okay, so you're getting stuff wrapped around birds, and yeah, So you want this kind of in the center. So gotta be careful now, because, all right, so that looks good, I think, there. So we'll make one tie first, just to be sure. This is going to be a long video just because of this. This is like such nonsense that they give you like a mold and they really don't tell you how to put it together. It's like a guessing game. Okay, so that is perfect. So we just do another tie. And you can always check, you know, just make sure that you check. Make sure it's in that center, like so. Okay, we're doing good so far. And then the last string, oops, made a knot in it by accident. Take that out. And then the last string goes right here. Okay, so I get all these out of the way, because this will get you confused if you got them all tangled up. And you just make sure. Yeah, well, I'm going to tie a knot. Of course, I'm screwing it up. I can tell already. I'm trying to get the loop. The loop's going one way. I'm trying to tie it a different way. It's just crazy. All right. That's fine. And then just feed this on through again. Tie. Nice tight knot. Alright. And then if it looks weird, you can kind of adjust it. So, okay, that's about all I can do with that. Okay, so we're going to take one of these. Okay, and then you're going to put it through the front of the piece. I think that's, yeah. I'm going to put it through the front, and then you're going to go about where you'd like it to start hanging from, and then go through again. Find that end. Sorry if you can't see. This is like so difficult to work with. Alright. I don't even know what happened there. Okay, so you put it through the front. And then we're going to put it through the front again. So it just makes a loop around that top piece. And we'll just pull it through wherever it may be. I'm not finding it. There it is. Okay. And then it's going to go along the back. Just hold it with your thumb. Find the end. Pull it through. And then just pull it through again. Now if you want, you can make a knot there to make sure it's going to stay, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll make a little knot, and then just going to feed that through the little loop. I'm not feeding it through the hole, I'm just going through the loop again. And then as soon as I can find the end, just tie that knot. And it's just making a little, just a little knot. Okay. So when you hang it up, oops, see, I got it all tangled again. Ugh. Okay. So when you hang it, this is hanging. From one of them. Then, let me just get all those strings over here somewhere. I'm going to take this one, okay, the larger one, and then that's why I had everything all set out so I know what I was working with first. I don't know how long I want them hanging, probably not that much because I'm just sticking it in my window. Just put it through, grab it like so, bring it down the back, and you really can't see them, so it's perfectly fine. You know what, I think this would be really cute if you're making, I just want it to hang a little more and I made it too tight. So you can just adjust it to where you want it. So I think I want it right there is fine. And just lift this up, put this through the hole, and just go around and then go through the back again with the thread. You can tie a knot if you want. You can add beads in here too if you want, but I don't think I'm going to add beads like in between here. I mean, I could have. That would have looked nice, maybe. But at this point, I just want to get it done. So, don't mind me. All right, so then this one will go through the front. And then we'll loop it again through. And then we'll just move it to where we might like it. I think we'll put beads at the end. Okay. Let's see how long that is. So we'll make it approximately the same length down. Just hold that. Put the string through. Through it again, just to hold it. Now if you want for extra holding measures, you can put a little dab of glue over that hole. Or what you could do is just put a dab of, just a little teeny dab of resin. And you can do that too. All right, and then I'm going to get, let's see, I think I'll do a small bead and then a large bead. So small bead goes on first, and then I'm just going to put the string through it to hold it. And then I'm going to do the large bead. And then put the string through it like that. Now I have to make a knot. So we'll see if I can do it this way. We'll try. Seems to be working. There we go. So that's not going to go anywhere, and that's the start of it. Now you can put beads in between if you want. You can place them in between. I'm just putting them at the ends. And then, so then all you do is you go on to your next string. And remember, I had them all laid out, so you have to go in order. So the next one would be the large, small, and the large. Now we can put a bead there, you know, and maybe just have one that starts with a bead and one that doesn't. So we can do that. I mean, that should work nice. So just put a bead on. Go to the bottom of the bead where I just fed this through, feed it through again so it loops around it. And I'll just move it up to here. Let me see. Okay, about there is good. And we can do the knot again, just to hold the bead. Okay, and I'll just do it one more time. Okay, there's a second bead. And then this. Then that way too, it looks like one's hanging just a little bit longer than the other. So that'll be nice. So two will be longer and then two will be like the shorter ones. Did I just do that wrong? I did. Okay. Okay, so start with it going through the front. And go through the front again with your string. So it just like loops around. All right, see how it loops around up on top? Okay, so find the length you want it to hang from. So about there, I think. And then go down the back of it. Feed it through. And then go around to the back again and put it through again. There. Oops, and it moved. Okay, so you can adjust it if it does that. Alright, and then we're going to do the little green one. So go through the front. Is that the front? Oh, this is the front. Go through the front. And then you can just feed it through again, through the front. Sorry if I keep going off camera. I'm trying to see this. It's really, really difficult. And then just pull it to where about you want it. And this just shifted. And right about there. Okay. And then you're going to go down the back. Feed it through. And then feed it the end through again. There we go. Alright, so now move this up. Try not to pull too hard, because once you pull too hard, it just shifts them and you have to rearrange them again. So this is going to be the last one on this side. So let's see, we'll find how long we want it to be. About there. And feed it through again. Go down the back, feed it through, and then go through again. Okay, so that's about the length apart I want. And then, oops, I'm going to use just a large bead at the end of this one. I'm just trying to tie a knot again. Okay, so I'm going to do the other two off screen, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, so now it's finished. I've got them all matching up correctly. So on either side are the ones with the 2 beads. So that's 1 and 2. And then this one and this one have the single bead. And then the bead that starts it. So, well, let's see, when you lift it up, I don't know if you can see how it looks. I think it's really pretty. I think I want the bird hanging in between the flowers. So I'm going to have to figure this out really quick and just get a length of the string. And make sure you get enough so that, because you're going to tie knots. So let's see. All right, so I'm just going to tie a knot right here. Now after I tie the knot, I'm going to use the resin to secure it. And I'm going to tell you this much. I use a little dab of resin on each side to hold the string in place, because I did not want it to you know, get all over the place. Let me get this in the center so I can cover the entire knot. Okay, that should be good. And then I'm just going to cure that. I'm going to do it for 60 seconds just to make sure that it's cured. Okay, now that that's on there, I'm just going to take this strand and I'm going to string it through the beads, the 1 bead at the top. See if I can get it through there, because I did secure that too, so there is resin on there, so we got to make sure we can get it through. Oop. Uh-oh. Huh, I tested it before and it went through, so now I don't know why it won't go through now. Oh, there we go. So pull that through. Oops. All right. And then now you got to make sure it goes in between here. So be careful. It's got to go through here, like so. And then you figure where you want your bird hanging. So I want them about, I think, let me see. You got to keep testing to see. If you have a bigger workspace, believe me, it's a whole lot better. I'm working on this tiny little workspace. But believe me, it would be so much nicer to work on a bigger space, because then you can spread everything out. And then you can see, like, for measurements and everything, because it'll be just all sprawled out on your table. And then it's just so much easier. Okay, so, all right. Okay, I did a double, okay, I went through it twice. I didn't do a double anything, but I did go through the hole twice with this, and then I'm just making a normal knot. Okay, and where is my resin? I got a little resin there, and I'm just going to go over that area where I knotted it. And then I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds. Once it's done curing, you can just find that end. Make sure you don't get the string that it's attached to your Windchime or Suncatcher. And then just clip off that end. Just make sure you didn't clip the wrong end. And then you can hold it up, put your bird inside, hold it up. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to show you. I think it looks really pretty. And then you can hang it up by this. So if you have a hook or something in your garden or in your house, you can just hang it on the hook. Or I'm just taking this piece of wire, and I'm just going to clip off a little bit of the wire. Okay. And then I'm just going to use this ring mandrel, and I'm going to just kind of make an S hook. Okay. And then I'm just going to make this side a little smaller. So it's going to go this way now, and then this one's going to go all the way around. Okay, and then just, you don't need a ring mandrel. You can use like something from a paintbrush, you know, a handle from a paintbrush, a handle from a tool, anything that's round that you can put it, you know, around it. It's not like perfect, I mean, as you can see, but I just made it so that I have a little something to hang this on. So I made my own hook. You can purchase these also from the hardware store. They have S hooks there, all different sizes. You can find them on Amazon, and that's all you do. And I'll show you a picture of it when it's hanging up. So here it is hanging outside. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and press that bell for further notifications of my upcoming videos. Also, in the description box below, you will find links to my jewelry, my artwork, and my photography. Thank you again for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.